Oh, but Lachlan, water's boring. Oh, I don't like eating good food. I just find it boring. If I don't have lots of variety, I just get bored really easily, and then I'm gonna just quit. And here's the honest truth with this, and it's the harsh truth, and it seems to be the ones that keep coming up at the moment, because I had this discussion with someone the other day about this, and it's like, cool, you're a fucking adult. Deal with it. This is about fueling your body to be the best you can be. This is about making the right choices and healthy choices to show up as the greatest version of yourself. We aren't fucking children anymore. Exhibit some discipline, exhibit some willpower. Choose the right thing over the easy thing. And if you find it boring, if you find that it doesn't tickle your fancy as much, maybe start treating your body better and make some definitive choices. The one that I always loved was from Mark Ripito, who is, a legend in strength training, one of the originals back in the day. And he had people complain, they don't like water, it's boring and all that kind of jazz. And he's like, he was an American, he goes, go run 5 miles and tell me how fucking incredible that first sip of water is. Tell me how amazing and delightful and refreshing that water is. And the same principle applies. You find food boring, fast for a couple of days. Stop eating for a couple of days and see how amazing anything, literally anything is. How much you will enjoy that first mouthful, especially if you want to double down on really getting enjoyment out of it, if someone else cooked it for you. Because, little side note, did you know that the enjoyment factor of food diminishes if you cook it yourself? It's why if someone else cooks it for you, it always tastes better. And the reason is that a lot of taste and enjoyment actually comes from smell rather than the actual eating of the food. So when you're cooking it, you get basically overexposed to the smell, and so it reduces the enjoyment of it. That's a little side note. But the answer really is, you're too fucking soft. You're too built into everything at my fingertips. Oh, everything needs to be built on this 100% enjoyment around this moment. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love food. I love food. As I've said many times before, I would be an obese, alcoholic, potentially drug addict if I didn't make the hard choices, if I didn't choose this every single day. And I always get laughed at and pushed back on this one, but it's the fucking truth. I have a bar in my house. I have more spirits and mixers and a proper setup than many bars that I have been to. Hundreds of bottles of spirits. I love making cocktails. Wine, I have 2 wine fridges in my house, plus wine racks. I love drinking wine. My wife is a pastry chef. Do you know the incredible, delicious things that woman can create? But I make choices around my health and fitness. I make choices around what is best for my life. And this is the thing, that we have gotten to this point where we feel that our in-the-moment satisfaction and joy and this little bit of gratification is way more important than long-term success in terms of long-term happiness. And because I've had people say, well, if I can't eat the foods I like, what's the point of life? If that's honestly your fucking answer, what's the point of life if you can't enjoy at every single moment, at whatever whim that you feel like? I think you really, really need to take a strong, hard look at your life and determine what really matters to you. What's going on in your life that's the only joy that you're deriving from it? you don't have family, you don't have children, you don't have purpose out of life, that is a bigger question. You need to start analyzing that rather than blaming, well, me for trying to take away your food. But that's a whole different other story. But it does come to this question of what matters more to you. Because if you want to be the greatest version of yourself, if you want to get out there and honestly live your best life, it starts with being healthy. It starts with making the right choices. It starts with fueling your body for the better. You know, and people want to talk about it all the time, but you can either make choices now around what's best for you, about being healthy, about being fit, being strong, or those choices will be made for you down the track. And people don't want to think about this, that at some point, if you don't make better decisions, you know, you'll end up with some form of disease or bedriddenness or something that will take away the choices that you currently have. Or even worse, you'll just fucking die. Like, the amount of people who are dying due to heart disease and heart attacks these days at younger and younger ages is scary and should be a wake-up call. It should be something that we are looking at and starting to question, because it's a factor. But no, we want to continually choose to take the easy route. We want to continually be so blissfully satisfied at every fucking moment that we won't question whether this is a good thing. And it's the one that I keep coming back to that annoys the shit out of me on it, that people want to talk about, you know, going on harsh diets and how restrictive it is. Well, maybe we should talk about how your willingness to poison your body is greater than your willingness to be healthy and happy. Your willingness to choose a moment of satisfaction over long-term health and fitness. These are questions that need to be asked. These are questions that need to be answered. That, well, you've gotten soft. And if you don't find enjoyment in food, well, the other side of it is potentially get better at cooking. Because we eat on a very restrictive way. And, you know, as I said, we eat meat, fruit. That's pretty much it. Now, my wife still manages to cook up incredible meals for the family. We manage to eat very well. And I will openly admit, I am a complete novice and knob jockey in the kitchen. I can cook enough that I will continue to survive. That is about it. So if I'm left to my own devices and I have to cook my own food, shit gets pretty boring pretty fucking quickly. And I am blessed beyond measure that my wife loves to cook and cooks the majority of the meals. But if it was up to me all the time, yeah, I would learn to cook better options. My wife just doesn't want me in the kitchen learning those skills. She wants it as her place, as her sanctuary. But if you find it boring, get better at cooking. Find better alternatives. The answer isn't to put your head in the sand and to deny that the choices you make on a daily basis about what you put in your mouth fucking matter. That is not the answer to these questions. But people keep bucking up against it. I keep getting people and they're like, well, what's the point if I can't have the things that I want? Well, again, I come back to this question of, well, what truly matters? And if you don't enjoy it, maybe make some harder choices and stop giving in all the time. Stop making the quick choices all the time. Start making better decisions around the food in general, so that you can have a better dichotomy of it. And even people are like, well, what about like being on 90% of the time? I firmly believe that people drastically underestimate how often they are off. So in my program, 126 to Greatness, which is the next level past doing greatness daily, it's 126 days with zero exceptions, with no days off, with no missteps. It is perfection, because it delivers incredible fucking results. Life-changing level results for you. And after that, I allow, in planned times, you get 10 days off per 126. Right? So across the year, if you keep following it as I do, you get 30 days off or to eat whatever you pick. But it has to be planned. It cannot be a spur of the moment giving into emotions. It's a anniversary. It's a birthday. It's a Christmas, Easter, special occasion situations. Not just, I want to be a fat slob today and eat whatever the fuck I want. It's an actual definitive choice of doing that. And there is science behind that that allows you, that you know you have the options to then utilize them when you want. It allows you to be more disciplined and stick to the program. But anyway, within that, so those 30 days, which I've still been told is highly restrictive and so oppressive that you can't get to make these choices, right? That's a little bit over being, it's slightly over 90%. So it would be 36 days across a year. So if I gave myself 12, it's not exact, but it's pretty damn close. 12 days off every 126. I'd be on 90% of the time. Think about that. Think about that. And when people are like, oh, I'm on 90% of the time. No, I'd probably say if you aren't, doing 12 weeks, 12 days out of every 4 months, you're eating off any more than that, you're not doing 90%. I would say most people are probably in the 60 to maybe 70% of the time they're on. And this is the gap. And this is where you find that people aren't actually aware of what they're doing. And they aren't aware of the things that they're eating. They aren't aware of all the extra little indulgences and choices that you make. People aren't aware of what's actually going on. And it's why the results don't work. It's why it doesn't actually follow through. Like I spoke about, the reason why it's every single day is because it breaks the momentum. If you take the weekend off every week, Monday's a fucking slog. And then Tuesday's a little bit better. Wednesday, you're feeling a little bit, you're like, oh, I'm close to over the hump. Thursday's not too bad, and Friday's usually pretty great because you're also aware that you're going to take the next 2 days off. And it leads to overindulgence and people just stuffing themselves silly and doing stupid things with that. So we need to start being aware, and we need to stop being fucking children about this whole concept of, oh, I deserve all this freedom. I deserve to eat whatever I want whenever I feel like it. Or, be a fucking adult, make some adult decisions, and realize that you have personal responsibility, and you have a responsibility around what you eat, what you do, and how you live your life. Not just for you, but for others, to show up as the best version of yourself. That we need to stop thinking we're entitled to all these things, that we've reached this point of entitlement, that we must just have everything we want, whenever we want, without effort, without work, without choices and decisions about what matters most to us. We just must be given everything. Or you could wake the fuck up and realize that you need to make some adult decisions. You need to make choices around what truly matters to you. What is the most important thing to you? Then we can start having serious conversations. Then we can start progressing you towards the life that you actually want, towards the life that you know you should lead. Then we can start seriously reaching the point of making changes in your life when you're willing to admit what matters most and start making adult decisions around that. So if you're ready to step into that, to step into being a man of your word, to doing the things that you said you would do and following through, to reaching your greatest potential, and stop lying to yourself about how well you're doing and how committed you are, but you're not seeing the results. If you want to actually fucking see results that matter, then shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness daily, and let's start the process. Hell, the difference between pretending and actually doing it is astronomical. Not that I overly care about weight, but that's a whole different other conversation. But one of my guys in the first 2 weeks of joining the program is down 7 kilos in 2 weeks. That's the difference from being, pussyfooting around and actually making adult decisions and getting into the game and doing the work. So if you're ready for that, shoot me a message and let's make it a reality. As always, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, if this spoke to you, if you enjoyed it, if you know someone else who needs to start making adult decisions, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please send it, help spread the word, but most importantly, please subscribe. The majority of people who are watching these are not subscribed. And it helps me, it helps you, it helps the algorithm, it helps everyone. If you can hit that subscribe button, make sure you don't miss a day, because I'm here every single day, leading from the front, sharing from my experiences, sharing from the experiences and conversations I'm having with my guys and guys who are interested in changing their lives. So please make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you do not miss a single one. But I will be back again tomorrow. Until then.